Let's now create a Android Studio project for our BMI calculator application. So go to the launch the VirtualBox and then start the virtual image, the machine. Once you get there, so now we are in the virtual machine. And in order to actually, remember we actually set up a share folder. If you're using the lab machine, you don't have to worry about the share folder. You can simply just create any folder on the desktop or anywhere on your home directory. Doesn't matter, maybe just the desktop. But if you're using your home machine, what we advise you to do is to, first of all, if you have not done so, you can simply go to share folder and create a new folder there. Let's call it EECS 1022, for example, and then under which we create just another subfolder that's called that workspace. So you can store all the bits and pieces inside this EECS 1022 folder. And for projects that we're going to create throughout the course, each single project is going to be a subfolder over here. But the first subfolder we're going to create is going to be called BMI calculator. Okay, we'll see. And you can see that since this is a share folder, right? So you will see that if I go back to the host machine, which is Mac, you will see that the same folder EECS 1022 and also workspace is also there. That should make sense to you. Okay, let's now launch Android Studio to set up the projects. So you can go to Applications, Programming, and Android Studio. As said before, the version that's run on this virtual machine, the Android Studio, is compatible, is identical to the version that's adopted currently on the lab machines. It is advised that you do not touch the updates over here. You want to stay away from the updates because you want to make sure anytime you work from home, if you work on your home machine for the lab submissions, you want to make sure whatever you develop is under the same working environments as in the labs. Okay, so but beyond this course, once you finish this course, if you want to do any further developments on your own, you're welcome. You are actually encouraged to update your Android Studio to the latest version. But within the semester, stay away from the update. Do not do the updates. Okay, let's say start a new Android Studio project over here. And now application name over here, the convention is we're going to have compound words. Each component of a compound word is going to be separated by semicolon. Oh, sorry, not semicolon, underscore. Okay, let me show you. For example, BMI, which is an acronym. Acronym should be all capitals. Underscore, that means this is the first component of the application name. And the second component, before we do that, we have to specify a underscore so that they don't really break in between. BMI underscore and then calculator. Calculator is not really an acronym, so we simply just capitalize it. Okay. You can also say BMI calculator application if you like. You get an idea. So this compound words actually got three parts over here. Application, calculator, and also BMI. But let's just make it short. Let's just say BMI. Okay, make it short. And now for the company domain, we can simply just set it to be EECS 1022. Whatever default you might have, you can simply override it. That's no problem. You can either say EECS 1022, and now the convention for the domain, again, is going to be separated by dot. You can say EECS 1022 dot Jackie, or your name, or Jackie dot work, right? It can be as informative as you like, but let's just keep it to EECS 1022. Okay, the package over here, you can understand it as just folders. It's a way to organize files or relevant files into a single package in the Android Studio. Pretty much like how you store files into the folder in your home machine. And now, for the project location here, by default, it's going to store into Android Studio projects, but we don't want to do that. We want to make sure the project we create on a virtual machine, if you work from home, you can, if you work on your home machine, it can be shared between the host machine and the virtual machine. So now you can simply click on over here. Okay, so now we want to go to the path for the share folder and then go to EECS 1022 and workspace. One way to do it is you can go to media and then you will see SF desktop and then EECS 1022. Expand that, go to workspace. That's one way to do it. If you forgot about this, you can simply just do the following. You can go to if you double click on SF desktop and then go to ECS 1022 and the workspace, you can simply drag and drop this one over here into the path selector. It will just do the same thing for you. Okay, either way. Okay, so now we're going to choose a workspace to store the BMI projects and then say OK. So now double check the path over here. So it's going to be the media, the share folder, and then under ECS 1022, and then workspace, and then this first project we have is called BMI, and then you can say next. Okay, and now over here we're going to do for the phone and tablets. You don't have to touch this option here. You can just leave it as default. Okay, go to next. Okay, we're going to develop everything from scratch. You can just say empty activity over here and say next. So now you will see two things over here. One is called activity over here. The other one is called layout. As we will talk about throughout this course over here, there is a pattern there which is called model view controller pattern. Okay, so I will explain this a little bit more throughout the tutorial series. But for the activity and layout, activity simply means the controller. Okay, and layout over here simply means the view for the app. Okay, we're gonna see more details as we go through. Okay, so now the convention is to keep the name activity, but over here before that you can have whatever name you like. Main is the default, but we can say maybe BMI activity. Okay, and then you can see that layout name is also changed accordingly, which you don't have to worry. Again, the only thing you have to know for now, activity is for the controller, which is going to somehow control the user inputs and also the business model. And we'll talk about business model also in the tutorial series. Again, it's a model view controller pattern you have to master in the first few weeks of the course. Okay, and then activity is for controller and layout is for the view. Okay, and then we'll say finish. Okay, it's going to initializing the module, and then it's going to generate lots of stuff to create a project. And we'll go through the project structure very quickly. Oh, for the first time, you got to be a little bit more patient. Okay, it's now done. Let's just maximize the window for Android Studio. Okay, by clicking on this square box on the right top. Okay, now you can click on, you can see on the left, there's something called projects over here. So this is a project structure. Everything that's useful for you will be under the app over here. And or you can switch the view into structure here as well. Okay, we'll stick to project just for now. Okay, I want to draw your attention to two files at the moment. Expand the app over here, and now if you expand resource over here, res it stands for resource, and then expand layout over here, you will see activity underscore BMI.xml. So the XML file here specify the view for the app that we're going to develop, and we'll talk much more about this later. If you click on that, double click on that, you will see that if you double click, you will see that you will see activity underscore BMI.xml. Okay, so over here you will see I want to show you two things over here. You have basically design, you have text. If you go to the text view over here, it tells you basically some XML structure here, which we'll talk a little bit more later. And then you also have something called design over here. For the design, you actually got basically like a graphical design, in which case you can just add any of the graphical components over here under this panel over here. Okay, we will see later. Okay, and then there's also something called component tree over here, which will show you the structure of your GUI, of your graphical user interface design for the view. Okay, again, one is the design, which is graphical, and the other one is the text, which is the XML file. And there's something that we'll talk about later. Okay, so this first file you have to pay attention to is activity underscore BMI.xml, the XML file. Okay, let's see the second file. And then under, again, we are now under app and go under Java and then go under EECS 1022 BMI. Okay, you will see BMI activity. This is, you can see BMI activity.java. This is something that we'll also talk a little bit more later. So this is something simply just generated for you. Okay, we'll talk about how we can override it later. Okay, so now under this, we call package over here, we're going to create some model class. Okay, we'll talk about what model is a little bit later. But in the case of the BMI, since we're going to calculate the BMI for persons, so we have to model what a person is. That's something we'll do later. So you can imagine that later on, we're going to create another third file under EECS 1022.bmi, maybe person.java. That's something we'll do.